I am 5,280 feet above sea level, and I'm saying hey to all of you. Welcome to Joel.LIVE here on BeLive.tv. I'm glad you're here, and it is time to bring my guest on. She puts the boom in the social. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a social media influencer and leader, contributor to many publications, and of course you know her and love her. It's Kim Garst. Hi, Kim.
Hey, how are you, Joel?
I am good. We wrestled with a little bit of internet tech stuff before getting on here, didn't we?
We sure did.
What did we decide it was your laptop? Was that the issue?
I don't know if it was my laptop. I had everything all set up, lights, camera, but for whatever the reason, the laptop didn't like it, and we had to adjust.
Action. Well, we're here, and that's the bottom line. You're here. George the Pooh is here, as always. And that same goes for you as well, Kim. If you want to share from the BeLive page and let your folks know that we're here, feel free to click around and do whatever needs to be done to make that wonderful magic. And we are going to talk today about the future of live video for business and for marketing and for social and all the things. We're going to look into the future and talk about the things that we're using now, because people like myself and Kim, we tend to see where things are going, and we're playing with the toys and gadgets before most people know that those toys and gadgets exist. For example, this one right here, BeLive TV. And I know you're actually a fan of this platform, right, Kim?
I am. I love it. I love from the end user perspective where they can see the engagement, in the comments. But I love it selfishly from my end, because I can use their little feature where it allows me to keep my my talking points, in line. I can put things on the screen. So I am a big fan of the BeLive platform. Absolutely.
I really like the fact that I can just put you up. So right now, all they see is you, which makes for the whole video more enjoyable for everybody because they just get your lovely face. Or I can do the split screeny thing, or I can go back to where it's just me. And occasionally I'll use this as well, where we have the little picture. So there's like little Joel in the corner, and then it's all Kim. Or there's, I put you in the corner. Nobody puts Kim in the corner. I just did. I totally
puts baby in the corner.
I totally put you in the corner. But we're going to bring you back to split screen. So there's all kinds of fun things that we can do with it. And of course, I think the thing that we really like about it is that it is a direct push to Facebook.
Yes. And one of the other things I really love about it, and I wish they had, I'm just putting a little bug in their ear here, but I wish that the little templates that they do, like around holidays, that they had those like generic that we could pick and choose from, all the time, not just be holiday themed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that adds a little bit of fun to the broadcast as well.
I may have heard a rumor about that. I don't know if a little bird told me or if I just dreamed it. So I can neither confirm nor deny that some additional features like that are going to be coming soon.
Yeah, I like that. And I love that, ultimately what I'm hoping too is, I know all the bells and whistles of all these things are coming, but being able to pull people in and out, not just have one guest, if you have your audience at the end wants to ask questions, being able to pull them in like we did with Blab would be a phenomenal thing too. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you've got access to it yet or not, but do you have the 3-person talk show format?
I think I do, but I haven't tested it yet. So tell me, have you tested it? Do you like it?
I have tested it. In fact, you and I are going to be talking again later. Oops, let me mute myself because I just checked on Facebook and there I am again. Hello, Inception. You and I are going to be doing another show for a different reason later today using the 3-person format. So you'll get to experience firsthand from the guest side what it's like. I like it a lot. And because one of the features I really want is screen sharing. And again, a little bird or in my dream, or maybe it was a butterfly, indicated that that might be coming to Be Live soon. So I can't show you what that looks like, but the 3-person sharing on Be Live Gang, it creates a lobby where up to 10, you can give the link and up to 10 people's cameras are showing, and you simply click on one of them and it bumps them up into one of the 3 slots that's available. So you can just swap people out like trading cards.
Nice. Super nice.
Yeah, so that's coming as well. Now, when we got started in live streaming, you were a real early adopter of Periscope.
Yes.
Which, of course, now is owned by Twitter. What's your current state of the union, your thinking on Periscope right now, and where do you think it's going?
I think the community there is still amazing. You know, every time I jump on Periscope, I get a mass influx of people, you know, where, you know, considering I'm not as active as I once was there, that still stuns me, that there is still so many people kind of leveraging the power of Periscope or Twitter Live or whatever you want to call it. So that's amazing to me. And the community there, in my opinion, is much different than the one here on Facebook, where the engagement is so much different at a much higher level, not only with the broadcaster, but also with each other. You know, I mean, they've all formed relationships, not all of them, but many of them have formed relationships, and they communicate inside of the broadcast with each other, which I think is fabulous. And I love that. But to get back to your question, what is going to happen long term with Periscope, aka Twitter Live? But
before you answer that question, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Are you seeing an increase in your viewers, the same, or is viewership going down?
I think probably it depends on the time, because I've seen, I wouldn't say a massive increase, but definitely the same. And in some cases, maybe going down depending on when I broadcast.
So with that in mind,
yes.
You know, now, how do you feel about it with people knowing that that's kind of the data? Because I'm seeing similar, and it makes perfect sense. And we'll explain why after you give me your prediction.
Well, I think that one, it's kept Twitter afloat, frankly, in my opinion. You know, it gave Twitter a much needed jolt in the arm. I am hoping, similar to your prediction, that ultimately Twitter will be acquired and become a media property, because I think that's the long-term play for them. I think they already are in so many aspects of how they, how people consume content there. So it just makes perfect sense for them to go in that direction. But as it relates to the platform across the board, I would love for them to totally integrate it, Periscope, into Twitter versus it being a standalone app. Now they have integrated it, but it's still separate. Like you can, even though you go live on Twitter using Twitter Live, it still opens up in Periscope, right? So there's still that separation. So I guess to really sum it up, I don't see massive growth there at this point in time. You know, it had the massive growth out the gate because it was new and shiny. And I'm not seeing massive growth, but I'm also not seeing a mass exodus. You know, it seems like the community there that is consuming content has hung in there and has really, for the most part, stuck with the platform. And so it's going to be interesting, honestly, to see.
I'm looking at the top. I'm in the iTunes App Store right now, and I'm looking at the top paid iPhone apps in the social networking category. And I'm looking for Periscope, and I'm scrolling, and I would have expected to see it by now.
Yeah.
And I'm still not seeing it. And the further I go down, the more, is it really not in the top 200, or did I just miss it? It's possible I've missed it. If somebody wants to confirm for me that Periscope is not even in the top 200 apps. Oh, wait, you know why? I'm looking at paid. Okay. Be still my heart. Hang on. Let me look at free apps. That makes a lot more sense.
Yes,
all right. I'm still scrolling. Of course, top app, Messenger, Facebook, and WhatsApp. All Facebook-owned properties are the top 3 in social. But I am looking for Periscope. There it is. It's number 49 in the social category.
Okay.
And I don't see any way for it to grow now that it's integrated with Twitter. Why download the app?
Yeah, I mean, why would you? You're right, because you can use, if you're going to go live on Twitter, you just use the Twitter app, right? I mean, it makes it, which is why I don't understand why they haven't just integrated it and done away with Periscope. I really don't understand why they've hung on to keeping the brand separate.
Well, and there's the question. Maybe there's, we should have a Periscope. I don't want to say Deadpool, because if the tech is integrated, the app's not dead. It's just moved to a better home. It's more like, moving to Beverly Hills, right? From, the neighborhood that it was in. So moving on up, the Periscope is the Jeffersons, right?
Well, the only reason that they might ultimately, why they might be keeping it separate is, are they at some point going to sell it off, and start, I don't know. Why would they? That makes no sense to me either, because it's been their lifesaver, frankly. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see where all of this goes. Frankly, we're talking about Periscope, but Facebook has so many more cards in their hand, than Twitter does.
1.9 billion of them.
Yes.
To be sure. We don't know, Periscope stopped releasing data in fall of 2015.
Yes.
And back then.
That's kind of like an eye-opener right there, right?
Right. And we knew at that time that there were 10 million users or downloads or whatever the metric was. But 10 million is nothing like 1.9 billion that Facebook has access to.
That's a good one.
So go ahead and carry on that line of thinking. Where are you going with that?
I was just looking at the comment.
We're like the Donnie and Marie.
Like Donnie and Marie. That's awesome.
Are you a little bit country? Because I'm a little bit rock and roll.
I'm a little bit country. Can't you tell? I can go all down, home down. I get down home. Yeah. So as it relates to Facebook, and even though the community aspect doesn't appear to be quite as dynamic, maybe, and as strong as it was over on Periscope when we first started, that it's still the elephant in the room. Absolutely. And they are innovating at a amazingly rapid clip versus Periscope. Now, Periscope led the way, and it was the shiny object. We kind of jumped into that with both feet. And then as other things have come along, Facebook, of course, has gotten much bigger, and ultimately, I think, will win simply because they have a much larger share. When I say I think they will ultimately win, I think it really depends on who you're serving and what kind of business you have, because I think there's still a very tight-knit and community and opportunity on Twitter, Live, Periscope, depending on who you're serving and where you want to build. It's exactly the same as saying, okay, am I going to be on Instagram or Pinterest, or am I going to be on Facebook or Twitter? It's exactly the same thing. If your ideal client is there and you're going to do the work and build a community, then you can build it wherever you choose to do so. And I think the opportunity is still in both places. And it's just a matter of where do you want to build? I can pop on to, and I'd be interested to hear your take on this, Joel. I can hop on to Facebook, do a Facebook Live, and have a third of the eyeballs that I can have if I jumped on Periscope.
Yes.
So,
but wouldn't you say that third are people that you're more personally connected to? In other words, the people that are watching right now, the relationships are tighter. These are people that, we have engaged with sometimes in real life. Whereas on Periscope, it's often a lot of people that are following us on Twitter that we've never actually met.
That is true, but I have found that simply by the virtue of being live on Periscope, that people feel like they know me more. They get that sense that know, like, and trust factor is built out. And I have built deeper relationships with some people on Periscope, people that I would never have in the ordinary course of life had an opportunity to really build out that relationship with. And I've seen that happen not only for myself, but others as well. A lot of amazing friendships and relationships were built or introduced, fostered, and ultimately have had some longevity through their exposure to the Periscope app, or they were introduced in, and those relationships again were fostered there. So it's interesting to me how all of this is evolving, and how in some cases, to your point, those relationships are transferring to other platforms.
Did you know, for a long time, the page on BeLive has been facebook.com/BeLive TV app. But I'm going to say I've never actually used the app. Have you?
I have never used the app.
And I'm looking it up right now because Daniel with BeLive said, if there's any issues with desktop, you can always just use the app. And I'm thinking to myself, how is it that I have not? So here it is.
I'm looking to see if I have it, actually.
There it is right there. And I'm going to go ahead, and you guys, if you're on iOS, then you can download this app. I was under the understanding it was just for viewing, but turns out that you can actually broadcast with it as well. So we're just like, this is all live. We're just learning as we go. Although it's not picking up on my fingerprint, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, on the phone. Okay, my thumb worked, my forefinger didn't. Apparently I've changed, nope, it wants a password. So this is something that I want to kick around a little bit as well, because if you can go use BeLive and push to Facebook and guest using the app, that means you can do this on the go.
Yes.
Just as easily.
Yes, which is awesome. I mean, and that, I think that's honestly, as we know, you and I both know, video, live streaming, let me restate that, live streaming is not new. What's new is that we can literally, from the palm of our hand, wherever we are, go live.
And if I had a phone in each hand, I could do it with 2 palms. The folks at BeLive says you can download the BeLive app on Android as well. So there you go. We're learning. Even being, in the space and attempting to lead the way, often we find ourselves, a little behind because you can't keep up with all of it.
It's crazy. I mean, literally each and every day there is something new happening, right? I mean, every day something else happens, some new feature, some little, in some cases it's just a slight modification. They've moved a button on us, right? It can be something small, but yet ultimately pretty big.
Well, here's what here's one of the things I like about the app is that when you launch it, there's discovery. You can see some of the things that are going on. I wonder, does it show that because I'm not logged in, so does it show our show on here somewhere?
I just scrolled through and I didn't see it anywhere, but
it could be because we're live right now, and these are scheduled shows. I think, I don't know, maybe. So here we go. Here's some comments coming from the team. You can use the app to stream as a guest in the face-to-face platform using both Android and iOS devices. And you guys are going to see a spike in downloads for the BeLive TV app today because everybody is jumping on and grabbing this as well.
I love, though, that you're right. The Create broadcast is absolutely here. I'm just looking at it right now. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, you can go live right from the BeLive app. And, that's the beautiful part. let's say you and I, you know how this is. I mean, I've been traveling for, let's see, out of the past 6 weeks, I think I've been home maybe 5 or 6 days. It's been crazy. And so I just got back late last night from California again. Why is everything in California? I mean, really, I don't know, but every conference.
Because in the winter, and it should still be cooler some places now, even though it's like 75 in Denver right now, which is great. People want to get out of the cold.
Yeah.
So Vegas,
Well,
California, that's where we go.
well, it's everything has been in California. So I just got home last night, and but if we have a show, like that's a big problem, right? To coordinate our schedules and make sure that if we are traveling all the time, being able to do this on the fly and not be in front of our home computers and have our lights and our camera and our action stuff. We can literally do it from the palm of our hand, which is amazing.
I enjoy broadcasting from my desktop, and
I
I'm
do
glad
too.
that Facebook lets you do it natively now. And for Be Live, I remember, with Blab, that was one of my favorite things, is being able to sit at my desk and talk with friends and do my shows. And I'm not sure that I'll use an app unless I don't have an alternative, because it's a smaller screen. I'm
Yeah.
not as comfortable unless, of course, I'm lounging on the sofa or periscoping in bed, which I've done a couple times before.
I've seen that before.
Which I
I'm napping from bed. Yeah, I've seen you do some cool things. So yeah, but I'm in agreement. And I don't know. Is it because we're a little older? I don't know.
I don't know. I just like to. Yeah. Have you met this guy?
That is the coolest thing. That is seriously cool.
That's mini me right
I
there.
I think I need a mini me. I'm
Yeah.
like,
So
that's pretty
next
cool.
time you find yourself in San Francisco or Los Angeles, go to doob3d.com and make an appointment to go in and get your photo taken, and then you can decide which one of these you want to buy. You'd be a great mini you.
I was just in LA, so I didn't know, or I'd have just popped in and said, hey, whatever, do the 360, and I don't know, it would have been fun. I think that's pretty cool. Um, is it literally, I'm just curious about the process. Do you go stand in this like thing and they have like something that circulates?
It doesn't actually circulate. I
Okay.
remember when they shot The Matrix and they did the whole bullet time thing, how it was shot with a lot of cameras that all shoot at the same time and then they rotate around it. Well, this is like, I want to say a 12 foot diameter photo booth. You step in, they close the door, and there are 8 rows of 8 cameras that go all the way around, perfectly positioned. And when
Right.
they click the button, all of them take a picture at the same time. So then you step out, and now you've got 64 images that show you from all these angles, and they take that, and with that, they make this 3D rendering
Is
of
very
you.
cool.
I mean, look at
Now,
the coloring on the jeans, like the fade and
yeah,
the wrinkles, in my shirt. It's just the
amazing.
gray hairs are all in place.
So what does it feel like? Is it resin? Is it
Yeah,
plastic?
I think it is. It's kind of got a rough texture. It's light. It
Okay.
feels like plaster, but it's not. But it is breakable. And it's funny because I was with a friend and saying, I wish I had my Doob when I was traveling. And they need to make them with a little carrying case, like a little, so you can take mini me with you and do fun stuff. Somebody said they like the way I use them in my. Katie Lance says she likes the way I use them in my Snapchat stories, and I would take Mini Me with me if
Yes.
there's the link right there for anybody that's interested in it. I
Do
wish they
3D.
gave me a commission because I've probably told so many people
Seriously, right? And
about
you
it.
have to physically go there.
You have to go there. Yes, you make an appointment on their website, and then you go to get it done. It's Joel.live. My guest is Kim Garst, and of course, Kim's site is kimgarst.com, or you can go to her agency site, which is boomsocial.net. You have an event coming up, don't you?
I do have an event coming
Tell,
up.
tell everybody about it.
Well, it is Social Boom. It's just a play on our name, our corporate name, and the focus is a little bit different than a traditional social media conference. It's more about turning the relationships that you're building in the social space into money. So we really focus a little bit more on monetization than actual well, if it's strategy based, it's about a strategy that leads to the dollars versus just saying, oh, this is how you tweet kind of thing. So it's a little bit deeper than some of the traditional social media conferences.
When is it?
It's in May 16 and 17 in Orlando, Florida. And it's there. Katie's just popped it up, socialboomevent.com. And we still have probably about 50, 60 seats left.
Oh my. Well, there you go. So is it socialboomevent.com? That's
socialboomevent.com.
So I'll put that up one more time from Katie if any of you all want to go check out Kim's event. It's in Orlando. Why wouldn't you go to Orlando? I mean, you're in Tampa, right?
Yeah, I'm in Tampa, and we actually have worked a deal with Disney, so we have some discount tickets. If you want to tie in a little bit of a vacation while you're here, I'm just saying.
How do you go to Orlando without taking a trip?
Seriously, I mean, I want to go to Disney.
Are you now? You're doing some 360 now as well. I saw you testing with. Yes. Did you have an Insta 360 Nano?
I have an Instant 360 Nano.
Do you have it handy? Do you have it there?
No.
I have mine. Hang on.
Okay, I think mine's still in my purse, but that is like super easy. I was really impressed. What's your take on that one?
I love it.
I love it too.
This is so far the simplest, easiest to use. Now they're coming out with some that are going to not have this whole bit on it that just plug in, but you could see we've got a camera on each side here, and this plugs right into your phone, just like that. Take your case off and away you go, and it's on your phone, and then you can use either Periscope, Twitter, or Facebook, or I think YouTube also. You can push 360. Now, the only downside I've seen is that for myself and a few others, we've used it in the wild, which is on LTE rather than Wi-Fi. And it doesn't, the amount of data that it's trying to push through, because it's not just looking at this, it's looking at all y'all. It just doesn't look nearly as sharp. I went to the zoo with it here in Denver and showed people the baby giraffe that we have here at our Denver Zoo. And then I watched the video afterwards, and you can see him, but it's just not nearly as crisp and clear as you want it to be.
Yes, so that was my experience as well. I was at the beach, so there was no Wi-Fi. And I was just using my LTE, and exactly the same thing, where I just thought the quality wasn't there. And I also noticed there was a red ring. I was like, okay, what's that red ring in my video about? So I haven't quite figured that out yet. But yeah, I'm loving the opportunity to use that because it's so simple. I've tried a couple of others, and I'm sure you have too, where it was a little bit more of a tech issue to get them set up and make sure that they were doing their thing. And I just thought the Insta 360 Nano is amazing. So simple. Plug it in and go.
I'm going to set up a short link for people. Let me see if I can find this camera, because I believe I bought it on Amazon. What I don't want to do is give people a super long one. Yes, it is $199. And I'm going to grab this link so you guys can. I think it's Prime is a really good deal if you're Prime on it. And let me put it into my URL shortener so I don't give you this crazy link that nobody will ever be able to spell, because that's what Amazon does for you. And almost there, doing this on the fly, multitasking. Why? Because I care about all y'all. And there it is.
If they're interested in 360 video, that is, in my opinion, the easiest one that I've tested.
There you go. There's a link. If you go to comm.us/nano, like nano, then it'll take you directly to Amazon's listing for it. It is $199 Prime for the camera. It works with an iPhone 7, 7 Plus, 6, 6S, 6 Plus, 6S Plus, or you can use it alone. 3040 by 1520 resolution at 30 frames per second, dual 210-degree fisheye lenses in real time for video or photo sharing on Facebook, WeChat, live streaming on Periscope, YouTube. And yeah, it's a good deal on this. I'm happy with the camera. The only downside I've seen besides the pixelation is that it is a battery suck.
Oh, good point. Yes. So one, you'll need to make sure that you've charged your battery beforehand. You'll want to even charge the device itself. I found that out as well because both need to be charged, in my opinion.
Yeah, you could probably get a good, I would say, out of the camera, 15 to 20 minutes of live 360, and it might survive your phone's battery because it really takes a lot of juice out of it to get it done. So, before we wrap up, pull out your crystal ball. Let's talk about where you see all of this going, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or the apps we now have, or what you think we're going to see. What's next?
Well, there's the difference between what's next and what I want to see next.
Okay. Well, you talk about whatever you want. You're my guest. On the platform.
So, I mean, I would love to see a lot more marketing elements integrated into live video.
Like what?
Well, things like, being able to put a link, and have it clickable, being able to drive traffic and things of that nature, even buy buttons, ultimately. So just, core things like that. I'd be happy with just being able to drive traffic from a live stream. That would be phenomenal. But I really think that the wheels haven't even been built on this stuff. We're just getting started. And Facebook said, I think it was last week, the week before, that they've done 1% of what their vision for all of this live stuff is. So you think, well, 1%, what else could there be? Well, that's the exciting part. We're seeing things come out the door at such a rapid clip that what is this going to look like? Ultimately, I think that Mark Zuckerberg is exactly right. And I've said this for some time, even before he said it, actually, he said that, in 5 years, the content will be predominantly video on Facebook. I agree with that. I personally think that live video is the future of social media, and it'll be more. I don't know what that's going to look like exactly, because I think everybody's approach to live video is ultimately going to be different and how they leverage it. But those of us who've adopted it have already seen massive benefit from it. Would you not agree, Joel?
Are you kidding? This is like, I love this. I was made for this. This technology was made for me, actually. You all get to play with it too, but it was made for me. So just saying.
Yeah. So, but I still see a lot of resistance. I still see a lot of people who haven't really embraced it yet. From a marketing standpoint anyway, they might, enjoy watching other people do it, but they haven't really said, hey, I'm going to do that. They haven't raised their hand and said they're going to do it yet. But I think at some point, it's just like everything else. When you get started with a new platform, it's all about trying to find a comfort level with it, understand it, figure out, is there a place for it in your business? There's a lot of talk about VR versus the live video elements and how all that's going to shape what's going to continue happening in the social space. And for the average small business owner, I don't think VR is going to be, it's further down the road on the adoption aspect, I think. But from a consumption standpoint, I think there's going to be a lot more people consuming content that's VR 360, live video focused. There's going to be a ton more consumption of that type of content. But that leaves a lot of opportunity for those that are going to be creating that content.
Did you see the numbers that Facebook just released this week? That 20% of all videos now on Facebook are live videos.
That's amazing. 20%.
in 5, 20%.
Now this is, I would be really interested to know what percent of the end users are creating that 20% of video.
Yeah,
right?
that's good question. And let me hang on a second. Mark, can you give me some data on? No, he's not picking up. He never picks up for me. Never does.
But you remember when Periscope released that data, they were talking about how much content, like 40 years worth of content, was being consumed each and every day on Periscope, and 1% of the end users was creating that content. I would speculate that it's very similar, where there's tons of content being consumed and there's a very small amount of end users creating that content,
yes,
which equals big opportunity.
Right, because if you have masses of consumers and only a few that are a small percentage that are creating content, it is I hate this phrase, I don't know why I use it, but low-hanging fruit. Everybody knows what it means.
Yeah.
It's right there on the tree. Everybody's like, how do I get my message out there? It's so noisy in social media. Well, here you go, gang.
Yes.
Live video.
Live video.
Live video. In case we hadn't said it.
Can you do that again? He's got such a great voice, right, guys? Seriously. Live. I agree. I've said this for the longest time too, and I'm constantly preaching this. You know, it takes time in the ordinary course of developing a brand or building out your presence in the social space. You know, where, you know, if you were to pop onto, you know, start a Facebook fan page or try to start growing a community on Twitter or Instagram or any social platform today, it's probably going to take 9 months to a year to start really gaining any serious traction, versus really embracing the concept of live video, whether that's YouTube or Facebook or, you know, wherever you decide you're going to put your eggs in that basket, or maybe multiple baskets. But embracing the concept of live video builds out the know, like, and trust factor at a super accelerated rate. It allows you to really build community much faster than traditional social media community building. Again, in my opinion.
I believe you are correct about that. And I like all forms of media. You know, I like the written word. I love blogging. I love the social sites for, you know, posting videos and doing photos. I like posting on YouTube, you know, pre-recorded videos. And I love the live aspect. And I love podcasting. I think any way that we can get our message out and reach our audience is a good way. And you can have a multi-prong approach. I like doing all the things. Some days you find me Snapchatting. Other days I'm on, you know, posting photos on Instagram. And some days I'm streaming, you know, till my eyes are bloody from looking at the camera. Because I love doing it. And it's where I get engagement. So, you know, Owen just says that his show went from 300 views to 1,500 in just 12 shows. So being consistent.
He's right. I mean, that is the other thing. And I found this to be certainly true for me, because I've been working on, I made the decision, and it was a tough one, to really kind of pull back and get more focused on my live streaming. And I've been working for literally months now on my strategy and my plan, and building the structure and the content moving forward. But I totally agree. One of the things that was so beneficial for me when I was on Periscope, I was there every morning, you know, Monday through Friday, usually at 10 a.m. And people knew that, you know, and I would have people tell me, wow, I wake up with you on the West Coast, you know, I'm putting my makeup on, or I'm drinking my coffee, or, you know, whatever. So it was almost like an opportunity to connect in that timeline, like people do with podcasting, you know, where they listen in on their way to work kind of thing.
Yes. It's
exactly the same thing. And
do you podcast, Kim?
No, but I'm starting one.
I actually have two happening.
I know you do.
And I'm gonna take a little commercial break for myself to invite you guys to check out my two podcasts. One of them is called Fun with Joel Comm, which Kim was one of my early guests on. It's in the iTunes. Where's the camera? There it is. It's in iTunes, and it's also in Stitcher and Google Play. Hey, that's remarkably focused for being close up, isn't it?
It really is, yes.
We're on episode 27 that Chris Gillibo was my guest on that one. He's something else. And they're short shows, 15, 20 minutes, sometimes a little longer. And there are a lot of the usual suspects, but we don't talk business. We talk about what these people do for fun. And what do you know the other one that I'm doing now, Kim?
I don't know. I do know. Yes, with Chris Brogan and my friend Joel J. Bear.
Yep, there it is. BBC, Bear, Brogan, and Comm.
Now that's 3 powerhouses right there, guys.
A little round table. Just for fun, and it turns out that there's, so I guess, some good content coming out of it. So would appreciate you guys going to iTunes and just look for my name. Go search for Joel Comm and podcast, and you'll see both Fun and Bear Brogan and Comm. Would love for you to give a listen, and your reviews would be greatly cherished as well, because you know how few people take time to leave reviews, and podcasts live and die by reviews. So, Kim, what would your podcast be?
My podcast is something I've been working. It's going to be probably in conjunction with my live stream. So my plan is, and you guys are getting the inside goodies on this. I haven't set a launch date for this yet, but it's going to be about kind of like Straight Talk and what's working now.
Yeah.
So I'll do a little bit. It's going to be business focused. But it's going to be a little bit more specific, like, what's one thing that's working in your business right now and how can we do it, kind of thing. So I rather than just being a little bit more generic, I really want to nail down and, come across one strategy for each guest that I have, or discuss, even if it's not guest based, it'll be, if I'm sharing one thing, it'll be based on one thing, and then how do you implement it?
And you're still kind of working through it. This is kind of therapy right now. You're talking through it.
Yes.
And this is good. We're going to get there together, Kim. And whatever you produce, I know it's going to be quality, and I know that.
It's been one of those things that I didn't want to. Frankly, I was a little bit worried about committing to it and not being able to follow through. So I was like, I've got to make sure that I have the resources and the time, and that I'm prepared well in advance. Now,
because we're not all John Lee Dumas, right?
Yeah, no, part of it is you're never really prepared, and you'll never be prepared if you're stuck on perfection. So I've been balancing a little bit of that with trying to get it out the door. So I'm working on it. It's a work in progress.
And it will get there. For all things Kim Garst, go to KimGarst.com. Kim, thanks so much for joining me today.
It's been fun, as always.
We're going to do another show a little later this afternoon, which if you guys will watch on my page on Facebook, you'll see it pop up there as well, because there's some exciting announcements around a certain event that is taking place on Social Media Day in Denver on June 30th. Actually, 2 events. There's an announcement that's going to be made that hasn't been made public yet, and so I'm spilling the beans. So I'm going to put the beans back in the can, and Kim, hang out for just a second. I'm gonna through the magic of BeLive, I'm gonna pop you off the screen, but wave to everybody. And thanks again, Kim. And thanks to all of you for watching. Without you guys here, there ain't no show. It's just Kim and I having a conversation. And we could do that anytime, and we don't need to do it on Facebook Live. So you guys being here and engaging with us and interacting is what makes it all worthwhile. I appreciate you a lot. And of course, you can create your own 2-person show or just broadcast yourself directly to Facebook Live on BeLive.tv. Just go to BeLive.tv to set up your first broadcast. It's easy to do, so easy, okay? My mother could do this, no question about it. Or you can download the BeLive app, either for iOS or Android, and have fun with that as well. Okay, back to doing the other social things that I do. Everybody have a great day, and of course, do good stuff.